Welcome to Horror Theater Recapped. The movie commences with the townsfolk engaging in discussions about the legend of Kusasaki Onna, a woman known for her torn mouth. People of all ages, from young children to grown-ups, partake in conversations regarding this mythical figure. In the past, it was believed that the woman with the torn mouth possessed remarkable beauty, despite her captivating appearance contradicting her true nature. She had a reputation for being arrogant and fond of deception. One fateful day, her husband discovered her infidelity, leading to his fury in an act of mutilating her mouth, robbing her of her beauty. The woman was overcome with sadness as her once alluring face was ruined, and she was compelled to conceal her disfigured visage behind a mask until her demise. Eventually, a massive earthquake struck the city, causing Kusasaki Onna to awaken from her slumber and re-enter the human realm. Simultaneously, a teacher named Noboru started hearing whispers inquiring, "Am I pretty?" Meanwhile, a boy fell victim to Kusasaki Onna's abduction, unbeknownst to his companions, who had accompanied him to witness Kusasaki Onna's return in the afternoon. The dreaded creature had resurfaced and commenced terrorizing the inhabitants of the town. The news about the young boy's abduction by Kusasaki Onna rapidly circulated throughout the city. This alarming development instilled fear among the students at the school, prompting the authorities to take immediate action. The school administration instructed the teachers to ensure that all students were safely escorted back to their respective homes. The principal emphasized the importance of refraining from discussing the woman and emphasized that leaving without parental permission was strictly prohibited. After school, a teacher named Kyoko diligently accompanied her students to their parents. Among them was a girl named Mika, who faced the distressing circumstances of being regularly bullied at school. Mika's life was further marred by the tragic loss of her father and the constant physical abuse inflicted by her mother. Struggling with her own difficulties, Mika's mother resorted to taking out her frustrations on her defenseless child, subjecting her to relentless beatings. When Mika's mother arrived to collect her, Mika recoiled and refused to accompany her home. Sensing Mika's distress, Kyoko stayed by her side until she felt ready to face the situation. During this time, Mika revealed the evidence of her mother's abusive behavior, which manifested as a multitude of bruises covering her body as a result of the relentless beatings she endured. Mika then expresses her strong dislike towards her own mother, Kyoko. Upon hearing this, Kyoko, who is also a mother, reprimands Mika for disrespecting her own mother. It is worth mentioning that Kyoko is currently divorced from her husband, and their child is living with him. Kyoko had once resorted to physical violence towards her child, causing her daughter to develop self-hatred. This incident angers Kyoko when Mika expresses her hatred towards her mother. As a result, Mika hastily flees from the scene but is unexpectedly caught by a figure named Kusasaki Onna. Witnessing this, Kyoko is left speechless and shocked by Mika's kidnapping. Subsequently, Kyoko is interrogated by the police. During the questioning, she encounters Mika's mother, who is deeply saddened by the news of the kidnapping. Kyoko acknowledges her responsibility in the situation and starts actively searching for Mika's whereabouts. During her search, she coincidentally encounters Noboru, who approaches Kyoko seeking information about Kusasaki Onna's appearance. Noboru promptly presents a photograph of his mother, surprising Kyoko as it bears a striking resemblance to Kusasaki Onna. Shortly after, Noboru hears the faint voice of a woman asking, "Am I pretty?" Each time Noboru hears these whispers, he realizes that another child is about to be kidnapped. In response, the two of them rush to the source of the sound to rescue the imminent victim. They reach the home of a young boy named Masatoshi, fortunately arriving just in time. Together, they prevent the woman from kidnapping Masatoshi, as Kusasaki Onna nearly harms Noboru. Kyoko is compelled to stab Kusasaki Onna multiple times until she collapses. To their astonishment, they discover that Kusasaki Onna transforms into a different woman. It is at this point that they learn about Kusasaki Onna's practice of possessing women's bodies to kidnap and murder her victims. The possessed woman was Kazuko Yashida, a mother. After the incident, Noboru accompanied Masatoshi to the police station to ensure his safety. Before parting ways, Masatoshi gave Noboru a book containing valuable information about Kusasaki Onna. As the Kusasaki Onna case gained attention, Masatoshi extensively researched information about the woman. Noboru and Kyoko greatly benefited from the information provided by Masatoshi. They immediately informed Kazuko's two children about their mother's demise. Additionally, Noboru shared his own experience of his mother transforming into Kusasaki Onna, describing how she was seemingly possessed by her. His mother frequently subjected him and his two brothers to physical abuse until one day she took his brothers somewhere, and they never returned. Before Noboru could finish his account, he heard Kusasaki Onna's voice once again. Promptly, Noboru and Kyoko headed toward the origin of the sound. Meanwhile, Mika's friend, Natsuki, accompanied by his mother, embarked on a search for Mika's whereabouts. While passing through a park, Natsuki's mother fell under the influence of Kusasaki Onna and promptly abducted Natsuki, taking him to a concealed location. Upon reaching the hiding place, they discovered both Mika and the previously missing boy, as Natsuki and the boy cried out for help. Kusasaki Onna brutally mutilated Natsuki's mouth and murdered the other boy, leaving Mika speechless as she witnessed her friend's horrifying treatment. After killing the boy, Kusasaki Onna discarded his body in a nearby vacant parking lot, where it was later discovered by a grandfather and his grandson who had completed their shopping. Meanwhile, Natsuki was left alone in the garden, but he was eventually found by his father and his 3 friends. The news of the boy's death spread, and Mika's mother could no longer contain her emotions. She secretly departed and hurriedly made her way to Mika's friend's house. Upon visiting one of the residents there, she was informed that Kusasaki Onna kept her victims in a house with a red roof situated on a hill. Concurrently, Kyoko and Noboru had deduced the location where Kusasaki Onna held her captives. Referring to the information provided by Masatoshi, they discovered that Kusasaki Onna concealed her victims in a house characterized by a red roof. It was then that Noboru realized the house in question was his childhood home. Determined, they immediately headed towards Noboru's old house. Upon arrival, Kyoko and Noboru began exploring the premises. In the process, Noboru stumbled upon a knife, triggering a recollection that he himself had killed his own mother. In the past, Noboru's mother had somehow managed to regain control momentarily, beseeching Noboru for assistance after awakening from a trance-like state. Noboru's mother confessed to him that she had murdered his 2 brothers. Gripped by fear, she pleaded with Noboru to sever his own head, believing that she would eventually kill him like she did his siblings. Noboru was unable to bring himself to fulfill her gruesome request, and in the process, he accidentally stabbed his mother, causing her mouth to tear. He then concealed his mother's lifeless body in a cupboard. Following this revelation, Noboru and Kyoko noticed an adjacent room hidden behind the cupboard. Curiosity drove Kyoko to enter, where she discovered Mika bound and captive. Furthermore, they uncovered the skeletal remains of Noboru's 2 brothers. Without delay, they freed Mika from the room. However, as they attempted to escape, Kusasaki Onna emerged and inflicted a deep cut on Noboru's leg with pruning shears. Subsequently, Kusasaki Onna ruthlessly assaulted Kyoko until she lost consciousness, forcibly taking Mika and Noboru back into the room. Soon after, their mother arrived at the house and found Kyoko unconscious. Realizing the dire situation, they swiftly embarked on a mission to rescue Noboru and Mika. As Kusasaki Onna made another attempt to harm Noboru, Kyoko intervened and swiftly stabbed Kusasaki Onna, halting her actions. Just as Noboru was preparing to behead Kusasaki Onna, it was revealed that her spirit had possessed Mika's mother's body. Consequently, Noboru executed Mika's mother, who was under Kusasaki Onna's control, and urgently urged Kyoko and Mika to leave the premises. Upon successfully beheading Mika's possessed mother, Kyoko and Mika believed that the ordeal was finally over. However, a few days later, Kyoko visited her daughter for the first time, embracing her tightly out of longing. Suddenly, Kyoko began coughing, and it soon became apparent that her face resembled that of Kusasaki Onna's. In her hand, she held a pair of grass clippers, preparing to inflict harm upon her own child. The story concludes with Kusasaki Onna's inquiry, "Is she pretty or not?"